Your 20s are the most important decade in your life to build wealth. And most people kind of screw it up before they even realize it. And those mistakes can carry with you for the rest of your life. If you can avoid some of these mistakes, you might be able to retire earlier, richer, and wealthier. In this video, I'm gonna cover some of the top mistakes that people make in their early 20s and possibly even their early 30s regarding credit cards and maybe investments and just so many other mistakes that people might make that you might want to avoid. And the last one is gonna be a really good one, so you wanna make sure to stick around to hear that one. My name is Liz, and I'm here to provide some financial education for working parents or working moms in a very simplified format. So welcome. The first biggest mistake most people make in their early 20s and just maybe even all parts of their life is not tracking their spending. Keeping a budget is one of the most important things you can do. You want to know where your money is going. So if you want to track your spending, you need to know that you're making more than you're spending. And if you don't track your spending, it's insane how quickly those things can actually catch up to you. So if you make $4,000 a month, you don't want to be spending $5,000 a month. But how would you even know how much you are actually spending in that month if you don't track your spending? Unless literally your bank account is negative at the end of each month, then for a fact, you're for sure spending more than you're earning. So the number one tip I would say is track your spending, know what you spend every month, know what you need to make in order to spend or keep spending what you've been spending. Sometimes just seeing your spending habits laid out in front of you, seeing where most of your money goes can be eye-opening, and it can really help you create a budget, help you realize maybe I don't need to spend $1,000 on takeout every month plus $1,000 more on groceries, and maybe it'll just help you be more smarter about those type of things, because spending can get out of hand when you don't track it. The second biggest mistake people make in their early 20s is living off of credit cards. You know, once you turn 18, all those credit card offers, they just start showing up, especially when you go off to college. It's just people showing up, offering you credit cards. There's credit card offers in the mail. Now you get them in the emails. I think you could just have ads online that are credit card offerings now. So that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is taking on a lot of credit cards, maxing out all those credit cards, and then all of a sudden they're $20,000 in credit card debt and they don't make the money to pay that off, and now they're just paying off credit card debt forever. And plus, that credit card debt just does come with interest. So when you don't pay off that debt every morning, the interest is compounding every month. So then now, even if they charge you that first month of your credit card bill, okay, it was $100 worth of interest, but now that interest has been added on to your principal of your credit card. So now next month, you're paying interest on that $100 unless you've paid off that whole credit card balance. So if you're not planning on paying off your credit card balance, I highly suggest that you don't start racking up $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of credit card debt, especially in your early 20s before you have a job that you're able to pay back that kind of debt with month by month. Another big mistake people make is ignoring their credit score. So many people don't even know what their credit score is. They don't really know how the credit score system works. And that's just not, it's not okay. You have to kind of at least learn the basics, what a credit score is. Check your credit score frequently. Do not ignore your credit score. Ignoring your credit score is one of those mistakes that could cost you so much, because especially the worst case scenario, somebody steals your identity, you don't realize it, and they ruin your credit. You go to actually do something important like buy a house, buy a car, and then you come to find out all that information all at the wrong time when you probably actually need your credit to be in tip-top shape, and you thought it was because you've done what you needed to do. So you thought. That's why it's honestly good to know your credit score, good to learn about what a credit score is, good to learn how you can improve your credit score, and just do the best that you can in those type of situations to know what your credit score is off the top of your head, or at least a good range at any given moment, and just learn more information about it. Know your credit score. That is so important. The minute you turn 18 or before that, look into everything credit related. Start building your credit. The fourth biggest mistake people make is their lifestyle changes once they get an increase in income. That is such a huge thing. Some people might get a $1 raise at their hourly job, and all of a sudden, they might see $25, $50 extra in each paycheck. They might reason it out to $200, $300 extra each month. And all of a sudden, they're picking up bills that are $200, $300 each month, or going out to eat an extra time, $200, $300 each time, but all of that racks up. So when your income increases, your lifestyle doesn't have to increase with it. If you want to ever get to have good financial freedom, you want to make sure that you live within your means. Just because your income went up doesn't mean your spending has to go up. You don't have to get a bigger car. You don't have to get a bigger house. You don't have to take more vacations or now fly first class because your income went up. It's okay to continue to live a life that you were already content with and use that money to save up or invest smartly with that money so that you're able to retire earlier and actually enjoy what you've worked for. Another big mistake I see people making is not investing early enough. I can't stress this enough. This was definitely stressed to me when I was younger. I got my first real job when I was 15, and that job was at a grocery store and they offered a 401k plan. And I just remember so many people telling me, I know you don't get it right now, you're 15, but sign up for it. You won't regret putting away money now. That's only going to compound interest pretty much for the rest of my life. And I'm so glad to listen to people. I started my 401k when I was 15 years old. Okay, so I was just like, yes, that sounds good. I want to retire as early as possible. Like, if someone told me you could do this, you could retire early, at that point, I was like, there's nothing to lose. It's a 401k. It's taking I think I did 4% of my paycheck, which my paycheck's $100 to $150. So literally it was at most $8 out of my paycheck. I literally, it wasn't a lot, but that was my first job. That was my first experience with 401ks. And I highly just recommend, especially if you have young children right now, teach them about investing and investing early, especially in things like in retirement, because that's so important. And just let that build over time. If you start investing when you're 18, the compounding interest alone will be so insane, as opposed to, okay, now you've waited till you're 40, 45 and you're like, oh my God, I need a retirement. You start saving then. It's not the same. You're not going to get the same compounding interest. And especially if the market all of a sudden decides to crash in that little amount of time, as the market can do, you don't want to be in that position where now, oh man, all the money I'm saving kind of disappears and it's also time to retire at the same time. Another mistake people make is having no emergency fund. The minute you start making income, I recommend that you start saving for an emergency fund before you start even getting in the habit of spending. Start saving for an emergency fund. Have an emergency fund. An emergency fund should be around 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, all your expenses. And if you don't have expenses, trying to think of a life that you want to have and then the expenses that will go with that life, and save up that money so that you can then go out and attain that life when you're ready to move out on your own. That is the biggest thing. Have an emergency fund. Things happen in life. You never know. Your car could break down. God forbid you lose a family member in a different state or part of the country and you need to travel there. So many things can happen last minute. You want an emergency fund for exactly those reasons, an emergency, and you do not touch that money unless it's an emergency. And that would be the biggest thing, is have an emergency fund, but also not touching it unless it's for an emergency. And I would suggest that you define out those emergencies first, before or as you're saving the money, just so you know what it would take for you to take money out of that emergency savings. And the last one I have for you guys is thinking too short range. Thinking short term, not thinking long into the future, not making a plan for the future. That overall is the biggest mistake I think just a lot of younger people make, especially once they start being an adult, they get their first adult job. You kind of think you'll figure everything out later. I can be young now, I can be 22, I can be 23, I can live my life, I'll figure it out later. That is probably one of the biggest mistakes, as pretty much based off of everything else I've told you in this video. You want to be prepared as much as possible. Get knowledge on, financial assistance type of stuff, get stuff, credit score, learn about whatever you can learn about in terms of personal finance that will set you up for retirement. Literally look up those key terms if you have to. There's so many free tools online. I have a budget template that I will link below as well. And that is the greatest part about figuring it out now and doing it now. If you do the budget now, you can prepare for the future then. And you don't have to be oh, I'll worry about it later. No, if you make a budget now, you stick to the budget, you make some goals, you stick to that, and everything will just kind of fall into place and you'll just feel like you're on top of it, even though, I mean, are any of us ever on top of it? So just to say, if you budget and you plan now, your future self will definitely thank you for not living paycheck to paycheck now. You don't want to live beyond your means. You want to plan for everything, track your spending, and just don't think that any situation is forever, especially when it comes to finances. Don't count on your job not going away tomorrow, because anything can happen with that too. So you always want to be prepared. Have the emergency fund, have a budget, and just have a plan. Invest right now. Don't wait for the future. And just know that, like, it's okay to have a plan now. Things can change, but just having a plan instead of thinking I'll figure it out later, because later might be too late. You can't really start when you're 45. I mean, you can always start anytime, but it's much better if you start in your 20s and you avoid a lot of these mistakes, especially if someone's telling you like these mistakes aren't worth it. I'm telling you, like, having financial freedom is probably one of the best things you can have in America at this moment. I just want to make sure that I can share any type of knowledge that I have with you guys as well, and how to gain financial freedom, how to retire early, and just maybe how to handle your own personal finances. Let me know if you guys have any more questions, or if you guys want me to do a part 2. I came up with a few more mistakes, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So let me know if you guys want to see a part 2, or if you have any questions about all the stuff I said in this video. Leave me a comment down below. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much, and let me know what your plans are. What do you plan to do next after you've heard about these mistakes? Are there some things that you're doing that you plan on stopping, or did you already know all these and you're kind of just like on top of it? And if you are, I'm so proud of you, because yes, like that means you have great guidance, or you just know to look up the right stuff. So let me know what you guys plan on doing next as well, or if you've already been avoiding all these mistakes and all the stuff you've probably already accomplished in your 20s. Let me know so we can brag about it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.